Anticipating, patiently waiting for you to let go, give in to me. First thing in the morning, it's you that I wanted. Wherever you are is where I wanna be. Baby, just stay. Let it go, let it go. Let me get all over you, all over you. Let me know, let me know. Let me know what you wanna do, what you wanna do. You can put it on me. You can put it on me.
Oh shoot, I gotta turn my heat off. Alright, dude, GG. Turn stream off, never gets talked to again. Alright, that's it. Alright, multiplayer, custom game. My hands are so cold. Oh, it's Moral versus Bourne, and these guys are both like really high on the table, so it's a pretty interesting game, but they've already clinched their playoff spot, so it's not for much, just seeding. Actually, not even seeding. Even if they win, they stay in where they are, for sure. It's interesting in the fact that these are two high-level teams, but it's not interesting in the fact there's not really any stakes here. That's true, that's true. Uh-oh, you're... Wait, you're cutting out. Change the Discord server. What was it last week? We did. Yeah, change it to West. Oh, what was it? I know what you're talking about. Oh shit, what did I do? Okay, 30 seconds, here we go. I'm gonna... Oh, I've already unmuted, hello. I hope you guys enjoyed our SpongeBob competition. I mean, our SpongeBob quotes. Hello, people of the internet. I'm hoping I didn't say anything stupid in that brief little period of time where I had my mic unmuted. I also hope you didn't hear me accidentally walk in on my sister in the bathroom. So that was interesting as well. But that was before that happened, and I'm hoping my mic was muted for that, because that was an interesting, very interesting altercation. Don't worry about it. As I apologize, we actually are going to be hearing the voice chat, and it's because I was playing ranked earlier today on this account. Normally don't do that, but we are going to be here today. My life up to this point today has been a book, and that book has been a series of unfortunate events. It has been so unlucky. It's been rough, so if the stream just randomly goes offline, your best bet is to say that my computer came alive and just started attacking me, because that's just kind of how this day has gone. So, coming into this matchup, Bourne versus Moral, as I think you guys heard us talking about, these two teams are extremely high level, but there's not a lot of stakes right now. The game has a lot behind it in the fact of bragging rights, but other than that, there's not really much to it. And the reason that is because simply these guys have kind of already gotten their places. They've clinched their spots in the playoffs, and they've also clinched their seeds in the playoffs. So a win for Moral doesn't really do much, and a win for Bourne doesn't really do much. So, but yeah, but it nonetheless is a very interesting matchup, as these two teams are extremely high level teams. And as always, I am joined here with my lovely caster, Demonic. Demonic, how are you doing? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And we are coming into this matchup. I'm going to put up the standings real quick, very quickly. But this is the very last game of the regular season. So, like I said earlier on, this doesn't have a lot of stakes to it, but the big thing is, this is kind of the closing ceremony, I guess you could say. Obviously, there are two games today, and the closing ceremony is the last game coming up at the tail end of this, which is going to be Heavy Force going up against Hydra. And that game does have stakes, because if Hydra do lose, they're officially out of the playoffs. So there's a lot of stakes in that one, but Moral versus Born is just going to be a fun little matchup where we can see two top dogs going head to head. We are going to take a look at those standings just to reassure you the fact that they are top dogs. Moral sitting at that number 1 spot and Born sitting at that number 3 spot. Coming into this matchup, Demonic, with these two very high caliber teams, what are you expecting from them? Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And we can see that with the vote here, there was a little bit of an issue with the straw poll, so it might not be as accurate. We can see that Born are actually not the favorites here. Actually, my fault. I think I am reading that wrong. Yes, no, Born are not the favorites. I apologize again. Technical difficulties today have been at an all-time high. But Born sitting there at a very interesting spot, actually only about 30% to 60%. And it's just kind of that's a little bit odd. I was thinking coming into this, we'd have a little bit more Born favors, because after they got that org change, after they were very good against Regime, unfortunately lost. After that game, they came back against Hydra and were extremely, extremely convincing. I was definitely expecting to see a little bit more on the side of Born, but then the other thing I had to think of was the fact Moral took down X13. X13 was sitting at the top of the leaderboard for, well, quite some time. And Moral was the team to finally say, this is our nice, lovely spot here at the top. So it kind of is expected, but it's a little bit unexpected as well. But we are going to be going on to the map of Border. And like you said, with it being Border, it does open the doors for two drastically different styles of play. You could either see incredibly ranked strats where there's runouts, there's spawn peaks, there's things like that, or you could see very linear play. Most of the time on Border, with a map that is so common, especially in the competitive map pool, we are most likely going to see, I think I'm going to see more of that linear play where kind of the same strats over and over again, not really changing many things up, because what works, and that's what Border is all about. But it does open the doors for that ranked play and also extremely close play. But like you said, it might just come down to the point of who's going to be the first one to just click the head. And just like that, I think all the players are ready, so we are going to be getting underway. We don't want to waste any more time here, and we are going to be seeing you guys on the map of Border. Demonic. Okay, yes, Demonic is muted. I told you, it has literally been the worst day for technical problems, and it just continues. But we are going to be in the match nonetheless, and now, Demonic, can you speak?
Yes, hi, hello.
There he is! Now, Demonic, say hello to the stream. Now you can hear you now. There it is. We are
hello,
perfect.
Stream.
Good Lord, it has been a day. It has been a day.
Well.
It has been a day. All right, guys, so we're going to be seeing Thermite and Ash off the board quite immediately. On Border, not really a typical pick. Ash maybe so, because not really expecting.
No, I mean not. Okay, you know what happened? Bikini Bodhi, right? He made that.
You're right.
You're
right.
About
I was about to say that.
Yeah, made the comment about nerfing Ash, right? And everybody flamed him. Everybody gave him crap. They're like, oh, we content creators don't know what they're talking about. And then Laxing says the same exact thing, but he words it in a different way, and everybody agrees with him. So I think this is what's going on here. Ash getting off the board. But like we said, there's a lot of people who use them. Wick very strong on that character, so getting them off of the board might be a good idea. And Thermite as well, taking out a hard breacher, which means it's probably going to be an Armory Archives focus. And then you got Mira and Maestros. I mean, anything that's been said about those bands has already been done to death.
Yeah, it's just kind of very, very typical over and over and over again. Not really anything new there. And we are going to be seeing a little bit of maybe of a target ban coming out with that Ashe. Like you said, on the side of especially Born, there's a lot of very heavy fraggers, especially Wick and Mag.
Oh, they were the ones that did it.
Oh, yes, we actually...
I made a mistake.
Oh,
I think it was targeted towards Gentao. Gentao does...
Yes, Gentao and J90. Gentao and J90 are extremely, extremely good gunners. And, well, that Ashe operator is extremely good at being utilized by a gunner. So maybe a little bit of a target ban there. You don't typically see that in competitive play, which is a little bit interesting, seeing maybe not a more viable operator coming off the board. Maybe it was a Thatcher or something like that, but we are just going to be living with it and seeing that Ashe is not going to be played today, which could definitely open the doors for more interesting play, as, again, operators that you'd expect to maybe be off the board on the offensive side of things are going to be still in play.
Yep, exactly. And we can see that, surprise, surprise, it's going to be on Armory Archives. What it looks like they're going to be focusing on, however, is I don't think that they're actually going to be playing too much inside of Fountain, and they are instead going to be playing in kind of that corner spot of the office, because they are reinforcing those walls, so it might be a smart idea to set down an ADS right there, have someone play in that position. That's been kind of a more popular strategy that people are starting to bring out rather than sitting in the back of the Fountain, because you have a little bit more control of the office area, and you have a little bit more time to work with things, so they can't get into the office. You can watch the hallway, you can watch the break room potentially, but we're going to jump right into it right now, and it looks like Mag is already going to be rushing forward. We can see the drones are going to be kind of scouting it out, making sure that they can get into CCTV safely, and it looks like that will be uncontested.
You're going to be seeing Mag already pushing into break room fairly easily with absolutely zero contestation, but he's going to be just watching this tight angle, maybe waiting for that Jaeger to peek. That is J90, and he is an extremely, extremely good gunner, as that was so close to landing on the head of the IQ of Mag. Had no idea that he is going to be escaping with his life here, and it looks like already a lot of map control has been gifted to this offensive team, but they are going to have to watch Naz here on this flank, who is going to be pushing up metal most likely. We are going to be seeing just having that much control already in that CCTV area, though, is huge. But Wick is actually going to be the one to go down first, but he did do his job. Unfortunately, not well enough, but Mag is just going to go in and say, we don't need him to do his job, as I'm just going to kill the bandit who's bandit tricking, as Nova gets another kill. That's Naz off the board, and it's just the Echo here sitting behind the riot shield, unfortunately looking the wrong way, but it is still up to J90. All it is the Jaeger, as J90 did kill his friend, is technically getting 2 kills there, but one on the wrong side of the board. J90 needing to clutch up here. He has been in this position before, and he has done it before. It is now down to a 1v1 from a 1v3, and the diffuser is not down. And he's in a very bad spot, but Nova finally shuts J90 down, and Born take an extremely quick attack on the first round of Border.
Yeah, that definitely could have gone in Moral's favor. However, J90 making a big mistake with the misfire, taking out his teammate. That definitely, would have been able to at least watch the hallway with him, and I think it would have gone in their favor. So they have to be a little bit more careful about that. And along with that, allowing Mag to kind of push inside and get almost 3 kills. We saw that her little wall hack there kind of failed, but she was trying to get behind the deployable shield. They baited her out. They put the deployable shield there, and they knew that someone was calling it out, like, okay, there's Echo in that corner. So I think that's kind of a miscommunication on Born's side. Maybe someone called it and didn't realize that he was on the opposite side. But either way, that was Morale's game to win.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's actually very interesting, too, because J90 in the position where he was, 1v3, was a 2v3, accidentally killed the Echo, who somehow survived. It was a position where at the end of that round, you'd probably say J90 might have shut down their chances to win. But the fact that he quickly brought a 1v3 to a 1v1 opened the doors for Moral, and I think even though that round did go in favor of Born, Moral was kind of the winners there, as they were able to completely just stall the attack that looked so strong from Born in almost maybe 10 seconds. They all put, the Born players all pushed in. They got 3 frags, but then J90 and Gentao single-handedly shut it down and made it into a 1v1 situation at the end. So there's definitely a lot of potential there for that Moral team to come back from those clutch situations, and even some potential when it's not a clutch situation to just dominate. So that was a really good round for Moral, but Born still being the ones to win it out.
Yeah, it's looking very good right now. We can see that they are returning back to the site. I really don't like this bandit trick. They were able to get rid of Thermite off of the board, so why aren't they playing something like Mute? They do have a Twitch, but you know, if you have a Mute playing in that half wall, you can definitely watch it pretty easily. It's very difficult in that situation for a taser to go off, but even then you still have a lot more you know, jammers to work with, and plus you can situate them to where they're not going to be able to get the information that they need, because we can see that what they're doing is they're having Mag play entry, and then what happens is they have the rest of them droning them out and calling the positions out, and that allows Mag to basically just rush inside and get kills. We just saw that happen last round. So I think there needs to be a little bit more counter strategy, but we'll see here. Mag peeking into the office area. Knows J90 is playing in that position. Which one's going to peek up? Oh, he knows exactly where he is. He sounds. J90 is going to peek out, baiting out the shot, not going to land them as Mag tries to break the barbed wire in order to rush inside. J90, however, able to take out Spectrum coming on from the opposite side of the hallway. Here we go. Is he going to be able to get a second one? Yes, he will. J90 finishing off 2 of them and holding it very strongly. Minute 53 seconds left, opening up a hole into the break room. Is he going to find a third one?
Oh my god!
Down and yes, he can. Nova's going to get the headshot.
Oh my
And a fourth one for him. Iski. Oh, this is not looking good. You can't peek this man. The Doc stimulation pistol's coming out and Naz helping him out. And Wick is the last one alive. Is going to go for the ace. No. Wick's going to go down by Naz. And Moral taking a very strong round number 2.
We saw at the beginning of this game, J90 had that Ash ban. That was a nice target ban for him, but I really think the only way you can stop him is to ban J90. That man is absolutely insane, and you have to put your entire team on him to try to frag him out, and well, actually, that didn't work too well for that Bourne side, as 4 players fall in almost the exact same way over and over and over and over again. J90 just asserting his dominance onto this game extremely early on, basically carrying his team right now with 6 kills. That is absolutely mad, and Bourne were completely shut down in that attack. There was really no breath of air at all as J90 just held everybody's head on Bourne underwater.
Yeah, very strong round coming out from them. I think that they need to kind of work on getting him out of that position, making him feel uncomfortable, because they were basically giving him a bunch of 1v1s from the same angle. What they were doing is they were pushing on top of each other, and that just allowed J90 to peek up and fire in one spot and hit 2 of them essentially. But along with that, they weren't trying to set up any crossfires. They weren't peeking different angles at the same time. And that's really how you have to win those, because that's what you see in a lot of competitive games, CSGO, Rainbow Six Siege, pretty much any FPS, is that whenever you're in a 1vx situation, you're going to want to try and get as many 1v1 fights as you can. Because when you're, you know, if you turn the corner and there's 2 different people watching 2 separate angles, no matter how good you are, it can be really difficult for you to hit both of those targets. But when they do things like that, where they just rush in from the same position that he knows where they are, and they do it one at a time, it makes it very easy for him and gives it a lot more likely a situation that he's actually going to come out on top. And we saw exactly that happen right there.
As we're going to see J90 playing up top here to just try to keep upstairs control, almost in the exact same position. This is definitely going to be a test here for Bourne to see if they can push him out, because like you said, we don't want to see them pushing the same angle, pushing the same hallway over and over and over again. That's exactly why J90 has 6 kills at the moment. It's just because there's been no pinch, there's been no counterplay to J90. It's been simply J90 has outgunned the entire Bourne side. We are going to be seeing the attack already in Mag. How does he keep doing this? But it's going to be completely shut down. Tries to be somewhat surprising and pushing to sight, but he's done that every single round as Gentao is able to find another kill on Nova, and Bourne need to close the book right now because they're just getting completely red every single play they try to make. Trying to rush in, trying to be quick is just getting shut down so quickly. As we're going to be seeing J90s just absolutely decimate Iski as going right through that peak hole. Those holes, they work both ways, and that time it worked in favor of the defender, and Bourne are not looking good at all. The first round, they won it, but we said, was it really theirs to win? And definitely doesn't look like it was.
Spectrum trying to peek inside, getting a little bit of information. It seems like their attack was kind of halted once Mag was dropped, and now there's only 2 members left alive against a full squad of Morale. So we have to see what they do here. They do have a little bit of time to work with. This isn't over just yet, but as we can see, J90, he's going to be going for the flank, and it's not going to end up in his favor. Wick is going to be able to take him down on the flank. Watch as Spectrum tries to get one more frag and even things up. That's probably the best situation that they can put themselves in order to actually get a bomb plant down.
Yeah, we do still have a lot of utility on the side of the attackers. You still have Capitao has all of his tactical crossbow bolts, but we also see a couple of Thatcher grenades as well. So just getting rid of jammers, maybe getting rid of any type of utility is definitely going to be helpful, but it is still a 2-on-4 and make that a 4-on-1 as it's just going to be all up to the Capitao. Now sees the smoke coming through the rotate, but Blizz is able to get a nice 2K there at the end and shuts Born's attack down. And I think the problem with Born right now is they're just rushing things. They went completely... I mean, we saw Mag and Wick were in sight within, what was it, 10, 20 seconds? And they just got shut down. Yes, it's unpredictable. Yes, it's fast and can maybe throw off a couple teams, but you're not going to throw off Moral with that fast style of play. You're just going to be playing right into them. And that's exactly what happened. And they literally played right into them. They went right into the crosshairs of all the Moral players, and that round was over before we even knew it. So Born need to definitely rethink their push here. They're going way too fast, and the idea is there, but it's just not working right.
Yeah, I think what they're trying to do is that they're attempting to play it a little bit like ranked. We saw that happen a while back at the Season 8 Pro League Finals in Rio de Janeiro, where Fnatic, they lost one of their players due to illness and had to pull a coach in, and they basically just ran like ranked strats against Evil Geniuses and actually beat them. And I think kind of a small problem with a lot of these teams is that they think, you know, when they do stuff like that, when they do these aggressive pushes where they're purely relying on their aim, they go, oh, well, they're never going to do that in competitive, or it's not going to work in competitive. And you see that they are proven wrong most of the time. You know, they try and say that, but in reality, you see stuff like this happen often, and you have to be able to adapt to it. If you know that they're rushing inside, find a way to stop them. We saw that happen there. Mag tried to do that for a 3rd time in a row, and it ended up not going in his favor.
The only round where it somewhat, let's say somewhat is a better word for it, somewhat went in his favor is the very first round when they weren't expecting it. But once Born kind of started getting into the pattern of fast-paced play, it was very predictable, and Mag has been shut down every single round since. First round gets 2 kills. The second round, he gets absolutely destroyed right when he comes through the door. Third round gets absolutely destroyed right when he comes through the door. So he's becoming a little bit too predictable, and they're not adapting enough. And Siege... the name of the game is adapting, and whoever can adapt the best is most likely going to win the game. So I'm liking what I see here from Born. They're definitely slowing things down a little bit. They are droning out a little bit more, and they're figuring things out. If there's any round they need to win, it is this one. It is on a extremely unviable site here for the defenders, as Mag finally is able to find another kill. It's been a while coming. He could potentially get a nice drone there from, I think that is Iski. Unfortunately, he does not see the Jaeger. I don't think his J90 is going to be seen behind that corner, waiting for the push of the Twitch, and finally goes down. It's actually going to be immediate trade there, back to back, as Mag takes down J90 and J90 takes down Mag, but making it a 4v3. So numbers still in favor here of the attackers with 150 left.
And Blizz is getting into a bit of a gunfight right now, holding on to small office position as Naz plays above them. I really like this hold on CCTV. Spectrum and Wick trying to get a little bit of information. And it seems like they are, once again, kind of pausing. They keep on doing this. They try to go forward and push inside really quick, and then they end up just standing still for a little too long. And I think this is going to cause some issues if they don't start to move in right now, as Chris is opening up a tiny little peek on the A site. That's a really good silent for him. Having an accidental team kill. I'm not even sure where that came from, but that's the second one we saw this game. And what happened on the Moral side, they ended up losing it. So we'll see if that's the same for Born. But oh, a great kill from Blizz. Able to finish that off, avenging his fallen enemy, in fact, right there. And this has turned into a 2v3 in favor of Moral very quickly.
And we're going to be seeing Wick here slowly push into customs, just trying to get even close to the site, just get a scent of it is his objective right now, as Nova trying to clear that upstairs. But to his unliking, nobody is upstairs. Everybody has dropped down and it's just going to be controlling site as we have reached that 40-minute mark, that 40-second mark, as Blaze again just continues his dominance as well as Wick goes down. And it's going to be all up to the Twitch, who finds herself on these metal stairs. He's going to be hearing the bandit just proning in that corner, but doesn't exactly know where it is. Slowly tries to push in, but with 20 seconds left, the execution has got to come out, but it does not look like it's going to be a good one, as 1v3 is extremely, extremely unlikely, especially with how little time you have left. We're expecting Nova just to try to push in. Is going to be able to see the bandit. That is going to be one. Is able to get two. 5 seconds. He has to push. Just got to hide. Blizz just going to sit behind the stairs, and that is going to be going exactly right back to the defenders. And that round, I said it at the beginning, Bourne needed that. They looked so good. It was 3v2 for basically the entire time. No, my fault. It was 4v3. They had the man advantage for basically the entire round, and then they just got a little bit too aggressive, and bodies on top of bodies kept falling.
The TK and then Iski falling immediately after, it got into a situation where all Morale had to do was play the objective. They didn't have enough time to plant the diffuser, which means even though Nova got a really nice two-piece, there just wasn't enough time to work with.
And what's very interesting about these two teams going at it is Moral have been known as the team to be extremely aggressive, extremely ranked stratty. And also Bourne has been of that aggressive nature, rank strats, spawn peaks, just get in their face as much as possible. And I say this a lot, but it works a lot. These two teams are trying to fight fire with fire, and Moral obviously are coming out on the winning end of it. We needed to see Bourne kind of adapt a little bit quicker, because when tempted with fighting fire with fire, you gotta know the fire department uses water. And right now, I would just say the fire from Moral is a lot stronger than the fire from Bourne, as they have just been completely dominated so far.
Have to see how it goes for them this round, as we are returning back to the ever so popular Armory Archives bomb site, and we'll have to see if they change anything up. We're starting to approach the second half in a couple of rounds here, which means that they'll be swapped over to the attack. So it's always nice to get as many defensive rounds as you can, because it's typically going to be better suited for people who have strategies, because again, it's easier to make defensive strategies than it is on attack. So I want to see what this happens here. Chris 3000 still playing Bandit. I don't love this idea, and I think that they should switch it up, especially with the Thermite ban, but I'm not in there, I'm not on their team, and they can't hear me, so that's not going to really do much for them.
Something that's very interesting is during the Pro League this week, we actually saw teams like Orgulus and Reciprocity. They had a very interesting strat on this Armory Lockers Archives. They actually kept this entire south wall open and had a complete rotate into CCTV, and it's called a 75% hold, where you only have very little amount of players on site. Most of the time, only one player, and everybody else is roaming on that top floor. And I kind of would like to see that here from Moral, because like you said, playing this Bandit is a little bit useless without that Thermite in play, and maybe a mute, just putting those jammers down and then being able to maybe roam around a little bit or stay on site could be the better option. And it looks like we are going to be seeing Mag setting up for another aggressive push, because this looks to be the exact same style of play from the very first round that led him to get 2 kills. But again, it hasn't been working the past couple of rounds. Let's see if anything changes. And just like that, unfortunately, the Albina charges are going to get completely shut down from the Bandit. And as much as we've been talking, there goes the aggressiveness, is able to find 2. And Mag 3, making it a 3v5, is going to be destroying that bulletproof cam. It looks like the plant is going to be coming down. Actually, never mind. The plane is not going to be coming down. As Capital, where are you? You have complete control of sight. A is in control of the attackers and has just been completely given up. Now, such a huge mistake. Their lack of communication from the... As IQ, wow, you are very loud. As Bourne finally able to get the plant down. Trying to get the peak. There's Gentile with a great shot. Takes down Mag, making it a 3v3. But the plant finally put down. 2v3 situation, make it a 2v2 as Gentile finds another, and it's up to J90 and Gentile. If you wanted anybody to try to clutch up a situation, it would be this duo.
And it's looking very good for them right now, but the diffuser is down, and a Claymore is actually going to claim the life of J90. So that's one of these operators taken off of the board and peeking out just a little too wide. Gentile trying to rush forward and got taken out by Spectrum. So really strong round by Born. Even with that mishap that we saw there with the late plant, it still worked out in their favor. And I think that was kind of a situation of a little bit of panic.
Yes.
They saw the diffuser going down. They knew that they had to hurry because of the 7-second disable timer, and overall they got a little too in their heads. I think they're running into the Claymore, peeking out wide instead of checking the angle. Definitely could have been in their favor, but just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
As we're going to be seeing I would say if you're looking at just the style of play from both of these teams, you'd expect to be the scoreboard a little bit more one-sided. If you're just looking at the highlights of this game, you'd think, oh, Moral should be up 5-0 right now, as J90 has been getting crazy kills. Blizz has been getting 2Ks on top of 3Ks, and it's been absolutely unstoppable from Moral. But like I say all the time, again, stats are like bikinis. We can look at all these numbers and all these stats, but it's not going to show. It shows a lot, but it's not going to show everything. And it's more of a team game. That is why Siege is so special. So you might not be seeing these crazy kill feeds and these insane plays from this Born side, but they're definitely still in this game. They have brought it back. They have looked a lot more like themselves. Before first round, they looked amazing, and they got into a little bit of a slump. They didn't let it snowball, though, and that is the biggest achievement I think we can see from Born. The fact that they were able to take a round back there, make it 3-2, and potentially come out of this half with a draw is extremely good for them.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
And we're heading into the action phase right now. It looks like they're opening up a couple more rotationals than what they have done previously, as Naz tosses out one of those black eyes. And we can see on the cameras, they do have some good positions right now. I do think that maybe a bulletproof camera would have been better for that armory area, because they have been running Capitao, and he can just throw down some smokes that kind of kills the visibility of that Valkyrie camera. But Mag, look how far in he is already. And he's already playing in the hallway. He's in 90. He misses the camera 3 times. I don't know how he's able to get headshot for headshot and then get into situations like this. But J90, once again, playing that angle, doesn't even use one of his ADSs in that spot this time. He's had one there every single time, but they haven't been nading him. So he's like, hey, I'll just throw it somewhere else if they're not going to try and smoke me out.
So we're going to be seeing just trying to get downstairs control, as well as the, I think it is the Twitch and the Capitao. Yes, it is. Just trying to get as much control off-site as possible, as the rest of the team is looking to just push in as quickly as possible. As once again, Mag with his aggressive play. He's definitely slowed it down a little bit, but the substance of aggression is still there. As J90 is able to find one, but the immediate trade there as Nova takes him down, and we do see Mag slowly pushing into offices. Gonna be watching that run out there. He's going to hear one of them, but he's just gonna peek the wrong way. Valkyrie able to get a nice kill for herself, as that's Naz getting a nice shot on the Mag, shutting down the IQ. It's gonna be all up to the Habana, Twitch, and Thatcher now. There's still a lot of utility on the board for this attacking side, but the defenders have a lot more. Only losing the Jaeger definitely this round in favor of this defensive team right now.
And Wick trying to get a little bit of information. Oh no, that's going to be Iski trying to go inside. He's going to get shotgunned in the face, however. Diffuser will be down. And the question is, do they know how close Chris is to that angle? 2v4. It's not looking too good for the attackers at the moment. They're trying to use those holes in the floor to their own advantage, but no one's going to get caught up just yet. Very smart play coming out from Chris to actually move back. That did save his life. And Wick making his way into the ops area, double checking down to make sure there isn't there. So see, we can have a crossfire going. The question is, how is this going to work out? Oh no, Gentao actually able to spot him out, and even though the yokai is going to go down, Nova will along with it, and it's going to be all up to Wick in this situation. And a great wallbang coming out from him. Blaze is actually going to fall. That's quite surprising. 28 seconds left. He doesn't have a lot of time. How is this going to play out?
Wick is completely pinched right now. Any angle he peeks, he's most likely going to get completely spotted out. As intel from the Echo drones as well is going to be just putting him down to about 25 health. And just like that, anywhere you run, there's a crosshair on you, as Chris is able to get the last kill and shut down Born once again. So preventing that draw going into the half, and now we are going to be seeing the switch of sides. And if you are not familiar with the new rules, it is 6 on each side. So 6 on attack, 6 on defense. We're going to be seeing 6 more rounds here. Obviously, 1st to 7, there are draws. Unfortunately, well, fortunately for some people, unfortunately for other people, there are going to be no draws in playoffs, obviously, because it's playoffs and winner goes home. I mean, nope, loser goes home, winner stays, and that's just kind of how the new Pro League settings work. But there are still draws in play right now, so 1st to 7, or it could just stop at 6-6. So that's just a nice little recap of exactly what you should expect to see going forward into this match and into matches in the future. But we are going to be seeing J90 pulling out the Monty. On Border, there have been a couple teams that have pulled it out. Not very successful this season. We've seen, I think it was actually, I was watching over VODs of Moral, not my fault, not Moral, but it was just teams in general. When Monty is in play, there has been a 27% chance of winning, and that's extremely, extremely low. So unless we see maybe very strong play from Moral with this Monty, I don't know if I like that pick, especially with J90 being the person to play him. Because why would you, in my opinion, why would you want to sacrifice a gun for a giant shield when you have a player like J90 who is incredibly, incredibly skilled with the gun?
Yeah, exactly. I do agree with you there. And look at this interesting attacker setup. We have J90 on the Montagne. I'm not sure how that's going to play out, honestly. I don't think it's going to work very well in their favor. But once again, they're running a bandit. I don't know why they are doing this. I don't think that it is the smartest operator to use.
Sometimes it's just his gun. I think that's probably what we're seeing. He has a very good gun.
I feel like this is just like maybe them kind of getting a little bit too into their strats or into their meta. I mean, I believe it was Born that ended up banning Thermite. No, that was actually Moral. I don't know. I feel like that there should always be some little bit more strategizing. I just am not seeing it here.
I was going to see another aggressive IQ as Blizz has already asserted himself on this main floor, but with the assistance of a drone right next to him, as Monty and Yin already kind of getting control of those east stairs, as this is an extremely favorable spot for roamers to establish themselves and get a very, very deadly flank during the late round. So getting control of east stairs is I was very confused there because I thought he was about to shoot his drone, but he's actually going to be taking down a Legion Mine. But getting control of east stairs is a major objective for the attackers, so Moral already having complete control basically of the east side of the map is huge for them, as Monty is just making sure nobody comes out for that rotate, and Abana making her presence known, as it looks like the push is going to be coming from offices.
Sorry about that, excuse me, I'm taking a drink. McChris 3000. Oh no, this is going to end up very poorly for Spectrum if he peeks out that direction. As J90 is going to be trapping him, kind of trying to watch that other angle, make sure there's not going to be any kind of crossfire as an attempt at wallbang is going to come through, not going to land even close to where Spectrum is playing. And he's kind of in this smart position, peeking out wide and playing back. Lets him watch that window, and he doesn't have to really worry about that right side because of the person on the doorway. But Spectrum spots one of them out. Remote gas grenade will be tossed in order to delay this push a little bit more. Minute 15 seconds left. Not a whole lot of time, but oh no, the Candela grenades are going to be going down. That's going to be completely blinding him out. Naz, however, he is hit by that Echo drone, and Spectrum able to find one. Montang actually getting taken out early, and they're not going to get anything from those flashbangs. Another one's going to get tossed out. Any of them are going to be peeking forward right now. Knows that they are blind, but he's not going to be rushing forward, and taking his sweet time. Wick will be able to find Naz.
We're going to see a couple shots from Mag are going to land under the IQ, and finally Nova is there to finish him off, and Spectrum is able to finish Gentile off, leaving it all up to the Habana of Chris. And well, it is over just as quickly as it started. The attack took a little while to get into position, but right when it got into position, Born completely shut it down. It's very, very strong hold in that offices area, and I would call that a really nice call for Moral to push offices, as it looked like there wasn't a lot of presence in offices. Yes, they had Legion Mines, but it looked as if they were definitely expecting a more CCTV break room push, the more typical push. So Moral pushing those offices side was not a bad call. It's just the fact that we saw Born rotate extremely quickly, figure out exactly what type of push was going to happen, and they pulled out the best counter for it, which is a bullet in the head, and they just completely shut down Moral. And I do want to reiterate the fact that Border is slightly defender-sided. It is the second most even map, Coastline being 50-50. I think Border is maybe 4% in favor of defense. So it's not untypical to see so many defensive rounds being won here, but is definitely just something to note going forward. We are going to be seeing, I think, almost the exact same lineup without the Monty, though. I'm liking that call here from this side of Moral, as it definitely did not work very well last round.
Just put him on a gun, let him shoot people. That's
Exactly.
all you need to do to get an advantage. When you put him on an operator that really isn't that useful on the site because of all the potential wall bangs, rotations, flanking positions, I mean, Montagne can't really do a whole lot on this map. It's simply too small and too tight. And we are going to be heading on to Vent's Workshop. We're going to see what they're doing here. This is their first time on this map. We've seen them in a while, and it can either go really well or really poorly for them.
Yeah, we are going to be seeing, the one thing that I actually want to reiterate is not reiterate, but kind of bring up is the fact we are going to be seeing Born go up against Heavy Force later today. And something that, not my fault, Hydra going up against Heavy Force later today. And looking at just the poll from that game, a lot of people are doubting Hydra. They've had a pretty rough run. Obviously, they lost to Born a couple weeks ago. But the difference is, I think, going into that next game is if we potentially see the map be Clubhouse, Border, or Coastline, I think Hydra are going to get their mojo back, because Border, like we're seeing right now, is one of those maps that is very 50-50. It opens the door for extremely competitive play, but also extremely ranked star play. And Hydra, they definitely like to change their styles back and forth, and on some maps, that's what kills them. That's what brings them down. But on maps like Border, like what we're seeing right now, the style of play is very fluid, but the pushes are very linear. And I think that could definitely help a lot of teams going forward, obviously into playoffs and into the last games of the regular season.
And right now, Blizz using one of those tiny little holes to work with. He is actually going to be able to spot a Nova, but he's not going to end up winning that gunfight. Instead, it is going to be going in the way of the Bandit player. Oh, it is a very good gun, and he almost finds a second one, as I believe that was Naz trying to rotate back away from CCTV. But overall, this is a lot of time being wasted. Almost a minute 30 left on the board. That's usually when you want to be in a position to begin your plant and begin your final push, but they're not there just yet. They're too spread out and they're too unfocused. Chris 3000 though able to take out Nova, and that's going to give them a strong opening. Spectrum's going to fall, but there's going to be a frag coming out from Mag to even things up almost. Yeah, that is going to even things up into a 3 minute 15 seconds left. They still have plenty of people on site to work with, and that Yokai is doing quite a bit of work as Naz barely able to hang on right now. 25 HP, one single health bar. And he is going to get spotted out by Mag and get taken down trying to rotate over. That's going to finish kill for him. Just as they're vaulting over and unpeaking both of those players with perfect siege time and get them both out of there alive. Who is going to come out on top of this? Gentile taking a lot of damage. Mag is one shot right now. That was certainly something.
Yeah, that was just unfortunate timing for both players. Well, call it fortunate, actually, in that situation, as they both were able to escape with their life. As Gentile just says, forget the Jaeger upstairs. We need to start pushing site, as there's only 35 seconds left. We do still have the IQ in play, so never mind. You do not, as Iski is able to take J90 down. And it's going to be all up to Gentile, and Gentile finds a shotgun shell to the face as Wick was able to secure another round here for Born. And just like that, Born, that the team that looked definitely like they were going to be getting outplayed this entire map, have completely flipped this map around.
And things are evened up right now, and it almost feels like it is a one-sided game. I keep on thinking that Moral is like so far ahead of Born,
Exactly,
but it's just not the case.
Yeah.
And it really shows you that no matter how many kills you get, if you don't play the objective correctly, if you don't play the map in the way it's supposed to be played, it's not going to end up in your favor. We can see that, you know, on this defensive side, Born is really starting to thrive.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was saying earlier. We've seen Moral, if you just watch the highlights of this game, you're going to think Moral walked away with this 7-0. There's been 3Ks, 2Ks, 5, there's I think a 4K in there as well from J90 earlier on. And you're thinking, Moral have completely shut down Born. But then you take a step back and you're like, wait a minute, it's 4-4 in round number 9. This is easily going to go in either team's favor and could easily potentially be a draw as well. So, like you said, you can get as many frags as you want, you can get as many highlight plays as you want, but it comes down to Siege is an objectives-placed game. Yes, it's team deathmatch in a sense, as if you kill all the players on the other team, you win, but also if you get that plant down or defend the plant correctly, well, you win as well. So, very, very even matchup, and I'm Not surprised from these two teams, as like we said, there's not a lot of stakes in this game, but there is definitely just a lot of bragging rights as these guys, number 3 and number 1, going head to head on the map of Border. I mean, that's as competitive as you could get.
Yeah, but we are on customs and supply, which is not a fun
No, not
type
at
to
all.
play.
Not at all.
Defense, not on attack. It really just has too many openings, and there's too much control from the second floor to be actually useful.
What you
Because of those-
my fault. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say what you typically see from this site is really either completely one-sided in attack or completely one-sided in defense, because like you said, there's so many openings, and whatever team utilizes those openings better is most likely going to win it quite convincingly.
Yeah, and along with that, you know, having those 2 hatches which allow you to drop down and have control, it's not like on supply or workshop or server, because you do have that server hatch, but that's only one of them, and along with that, it's in a really bad position to drop because you have that wall, you kind of have that little nook with shells. But here you have so much line of sight. But oh, a great headshot from Naz, and a second one for him, just completely cleaning out CCTV in a fraction of a second. That's going to go a long way for morale here to get control of the sites. And look at this now. Now that they're in control, CCTV almost completely uncontested, this means that it's not the best situation for Bourne to be in. And J90 able to take someone else as well. And along with that, a disconnect is going to come out. I don't think that was a rage quit. I'm assuming that is either a game crashing or something like that. Iski, though, able to tag one of the not finished off the kill. How is this going to go? He's playing in such a dangerous position as Spectrum playing offsite.
So, like I said, it can go in one favor. It can go in one favor extremely one-sided on this site, but we are kind of seeing that once again. 5 versus 2 here. This is definitely still doable. Siege is extremely fluid, but it's definitely not probable. As a castle and an echo, you still got a lot of intel, but with the castle not having a lot of direct utility against this push, this is not looking good for the defense. So we're going to see a couple shots riddle through. Unfortunately, so close to landing Spectrum as they were able to actually fight 2, making it a 3 versus 2. Iski was so close to making it a 2v2, and right now Moral definitely don't want to get too carried away here, as just like that, they have given this round right back to a possibility of this entire Bourne side winning up. A J90 shuts that one down. It's now a 3v1, leaving it all up to the Echo. Intel still in play, but it is just extremely hard odds.
And the plant is going to be going down, but Iski, watching the angle perfectly, is able to take out J90. But the plant's going to go down, and that timer is starting to tick slowly away. And it seems like Iski is going to want to try and go for the flank. But the thing is, he has the 3 armor. He is an extremely loud boy. And they do have a couple of things to work with, but he doesn't know where that second player is. He assumes that he could be first floor, but he doesn't know if he's rotating out. And the spray through the wall is going to be able to catch Naz, and now this is a 1v1, albeit a dangerous one at that. Iski gonna be rushing forward. He doesn't realize that there is actually a player outside. Blizz hanging out behind that concrete wall, waiting for the ping, and one tap onto his back. Iski's gonna go down, and morale taking round number 9.
There was potential for that round to be an extremely huge clutch for the Echo player, as taking it down to a 1v1 from a 2v5 is no easy task. We did see it happen as Bourne were so close to getting their first lead of the game there, but Moral still saying, this is our game to win. And just one round away here is this Moral side from securing a draw, as if they get to 6, no matter what, the best result for that Bourne side is a draw, or potentially getting a nice little comeback and taking the win. So, no, my fault. That's not possible in the settings I explained. It was, if we get to 6 points here on this Moral side, they secured the draw. Simple as that.
And we can see that 6th pick is going to be brought out from Glass to Buck. Very interesting play. I think what they're going to try and do is take out those bandit charges early and actually open it up with Hibana, because on the Bourne side, they didn't really use her as a hard breacher. They kind of just had her playing the support and using her for guns, which are very good. But we can see that on the Moral side, they're playing the objective. And I think that's a very strong thing for them to do. And I think that's kind of what they need to shift their mentality from getting kills to playing the game how it's supposed to be played.
Yeah, what's super interesting about this game so far is the very beginning of it was completely frag heavy. It was kill after kill, kill after kill, super fast play. Whoever can get the most kills at the end of the day wins. And that has completely shifted. It is now objective play. Let's take our time with our pushes. Let's drone out. Let's figure out what we want to do. And the same thing applies as defense as well. We've seen a lot more echo play. Let's wait till we push someone. Let's maybe not push the attackers. Let's wait till the attackers come to us. And it's incredible to see how much both of these teams have adapted to the styles of each other's style of play, where it's basically like they're mirroring each other. Because once we saw Born saw the aggressive play of Moral, they started playing more aggressive, and then they started seeing it wasn't working. Born started running away with rounds because they were playing a lot slower. Then we started to see Moral play a lot slower because they wanted to take rounds back. So these two teams have adapted countless times in such a little period of time. It has been an extremely fun match to watch. So it looks like Thatcher here just trying to get some type of angle into that little office area. Unfortunately, not going to be able to see anyone as nobody looks to be peeking there. But with the Buck downstairs, definitely could secure some downstairs control as well as half shelf. But it looks like he hasn't quite pushed there yet. He is finally going to be most likely going for that now. And just like that, he is opening up half shelf, trying to make sure nobody plays back there, as that is an extremely powerful position for any defender. As Nova who was playing there, is going to be committing himself to this bandit trick once again. He's just going to be placing... Oh, my fault. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's playing the shock wires down, and they do spot him. He knows that there's going to be a drone there, and we can see that the Blaze is actually going to try and take him out down below. But Iski, look at this angle he has if he peeks out at the wrong time, and he does exactly what happens. And Iski able to counter him quite easily. That's going to really hinder their strategy, losing that soft breacher, because now they can't get rid of those bandit charges as easily. They don't have a twitch to do so, which means pushing onto that site without any holes open on that wall can be a lot more difficult than it should be.
Yeah, we're going to see Thatcher. There is a potential for him to try to invest some of his Thatcher grenades into that wall, but with only one, they're definitely going to have to make it count. And this attack from Moral has definitely stalled out after that Buck was taken off the board, as it is now 50 seconds left here and not much really going for this Moral team, as Naz can't even open the window, as he is really struggling with opening that window. As Gentile, though, able to get a nice kill onto Iski. That's going to be the Echo off the board, and that is a huge pick, especially for plant denials. J90 takes down Mag, and Smoke goes down as well, as J90 gets 2 for himself, and it's gonna be all up to the Bandit and Legion, 2 extremely powerful guns, but the odds are not in their favor. Plant looks like it's going to be coming down, and without that Echo in play, it is not going to be denied. You can only deny it with a bullet into the head, and that's not going to land. As now Gentile able to secure another kill onto Spectrum. And it's going to be all up to the Bandit, who's at 1 health and is finally finished off by Chris, and Moral getting a nice little round on attack there.
Yeah, very strong victory from Moral there, and a really nice shot from Chris. This is really putting them in a strong position as we head into round 11. Moral versus Born, match point. That has to be a little scary, because you don't want to lose, even if it isn't really a game that matters too much. You always want to pad out your stats. You always want to say that you took the W, to see how that goes for them today.
Yeah, like we said, it's a lot of bragging rights will most likely go into this game, as well as the fact if Born does win here, well, now they can't because the draw has been secured, but if they do just take a couple points away from this matchup, that will push Moral down into second place, and just being able to do that, actually no, it won't. Moral will still be sitting comfortably at first place, but just being able to say that you took down the top placed team in RCR6 is quite the title. But it does not look like that's going to be happening here, as obviously the draw has been secured, but it is also match point here for Moral, and they still have a couple rounds in hand. So being on attack, yes, it's not favored, but the momentum and the confidence definitely on the side of Moral.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Preparation phase coming out right now. It's kind of a very tricky position for them to play in. We can see, you know, we thought that switching over to IQ on J90 would work. We thought that playing down below as Buck would work, and their strategies just simply aren't clicking, but they still somehow come out on top. It's a very interesting way for them to play, and kind of unpredictable almost.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really something we've said this entire game is Border is very linear with its strats, but the style of play definitely changes a lot. So sometimes when you see new strats come out on Border, because it's been basically beaten into the ground on how many competitive teams play it, it's always super, super fun to see maybe new ideas or different ways of pushing a site or different ways of holding the site that we've never seen before. But we haven't really seen that today, as I guess these teams just didn't really want to take any risks, as maybe we'll see some of those pocket strategies and those new ways of playing during the playoffs when things matter quite more. As we're going to be seeing Naz just pushing in exactly the same way, just droning out his, I think that is going to be the Buck. No, the Capital, my fault, that was going to be going downstairs. But J90 once again finding himself on this pixel peak angle. He got 2 kills from this exact same spot last round. He's definitely looking for a couple more to put on his already stacked resume.
J90 playing that pixel peak perfectly, and no one's gonna really try and fight him too much, but just as I say that, Nova's gonna peek out a little too wide and he's gonna get taken out, and Wick almost does the same exact thing. I really think it's a bad idea if he attempts to push through that way, as they open up a hole in the small office to get a good position, but those Havana charges are going to end up exploding, which means they have perfect line of sight in here. And this is the problem with Armory Archives, is they know how to fight it. Oh no, Mag sees somebody on the sandwich window, and that's going to be Naz dropping down below. Not be able to get anything from it. Bombi, this is a very dangerous position, and Blizz almost takes off the head of Wick, but Chris is going to be the one who has to finish up the Spectrum kill for this. Oh no! He shot the camera and Spectrum was able to get the wall, but I don't think he realizes that Spectrum's actually down, but there he is to finish it off. Such unfortunate timing. Chris 3000 grabbing another one, and this is looking like it is GG. Iski, last member alive, diffuser planted, 4 members still hanging on, and that's going to be it. J90 taking out Iski, and Morale are going to be taking this game.
The entire time it looked as if, with just based on the highlights and based on the kills, Morale, they looked good. They were extremely strong, as we get to hear the great song here from IQ in her post-game just celebration, as you guessed it, J90 being the MVP. No surprise there, securing 16 kills for himself. But the bigger thing is the fact that this game really did not matter much, and it's kind of it hurts to say that. I'm not going to lie, as I always like to say every game matters, but it didn't matter much. There wasn't a lot of stakes here. This was just kind of bragging rights, and well, Moral have definitely succeeded in saying that they are the best team in RCR6, as they have just taken down an extremely skilled team of Born. And also going into playoffs, just having that win, having that little bit more confidence definitely can help the team. Obviously, Moral also being the top seed is going to help them a lot, but just coming off of a win, being able to say we placed extremely well during the regular season, and then going into playoffs with that momentum, with that mentality, definitely can help a team. But looking back at this matchup, as I'm going to now direct it back to you, Demonic, looking back at this matchup, just seeing how these two teams played, and now obviously knowing both of these teams are going into playoffs, what do you expect them to change? What do you expect them to keep?
I think that strategies are going to become a little bit more popular. We saw there that they were doing a lot of gunner strats where they were trying to win solely on their aim and their skill. But in reality, if you have good team communication and you have good strats, you're definitely going to come out on top. I know Excretion, he was talking about how all these people are trying to save their strategies and all of that, which is absolutely ridiculous to me. But we'll have to see what happens, because I think that if they actually start to kind of coordinate stuff a little bit better and kind of get out their mistakes, they could go pretty far in it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think going into playoffs, there's a lot of teams that have placed in a precarious position, because there's a lot of teams that are extremely strong that are in the lower side of the bracket. So obviously, this being the very last day of the regular season, we kind of have to talk about playoffs, and that's why we're talking about it so much. But going into the playoffs, lots of teams that are extremely good are in that maybe 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th seed. Whereas Moral, we know they're good. They're sitting at that number 1 seed. And quite possibly just them being there, being able to say, okay, we're going to face the technically worst team during the regular season, that could definitely propel them forward, as they are going to be going into the playoffs no matter what at number 1. So it's very interesting to see that kind of play out, but like I said, not really much there, as the seeds weren't going to change either if Born won or if Morrow won. But I think the biggest takeaway from that matchup is you have to shut down J90 is a major problem, as 16 kills was probably what carried that Morrow team to victory. But another big takeaway is these teams going into playoffs, they're able to adapt. We saw so many different styles of play. We saw pushes that completely changed. We saw holds that completely changed, and that is dangerous for every single team going into playoffs. And obviously, those are my two, I think, major takeaways. Do you have any more?
Yeah, so I don't have any more to say, but I think it's going to be exciting to see how these guys are going to play in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it's going to be extremely, extremely interesting. But that's not it for tonight, as we are actually, unfortunately, having a pretty large break, as the team that was scheduled at 9 did reschedule, and the team that was scheduled at 10 didn't want to move up to the 9 slot. So we have about an hour. Yeah, actually exactly an hour till the next game is played. So sit back, relax, and get prepared for the very last match of the regular season of RCR6. I actually just wanted to say that I apologize for all the technical difficulties. There was, I really have no idea what is going on with my life today. It has just been riddled with just unfortunate circumstances. So I apologize if at points during my casting I kind of was all over the place. It's just really hard to control the stream and everything and all the overlays on top of just being able to try to, I guess, take control of all those technical difficulties. So I do apologize if things are kind of a little bit all over the place, especially at the beginning of the match. That was just an absolute mess. I don't know what happened. My controller was messing up. Things were just all over the place. So I do apologize for that, and I hope you guys do stay tuned for the second match of the day, as I'm hoping that's going to be a lot smoother.